of Gunners 98's excellent Northern Fury campaign. It's a complex one. I think we're anywhere between 15 and 20 hours in now. Kind of lost track exactly how much time has passed. And I haven't played the game for a couple of weeks. I've had a bit of a disaster at work, to be honest with you. So yeah, if I get a call, it means I might have a job, which is great. So I'll have to kill the stream. But let's get straight back into it. So just to remind you guys, we've got an American fleet over here centered around the USS Enterprise. And I've just seen, I can't quite remember what I was doing when I finished the last episode, but it looks like I've got Su-33 flying in at afterburner at 300 feet, trying to take down one of my Hornets, which I was using to try and knock out these jammers and these helicopters in this area over here. So what I'm going to do is quickly pop this chap up. He hasn't got a huge amount of fuel, but he's at low level, so we're going to pop him up in height and see if I can bounce this target here, and we're going to get him to engage with a few rockets. Let's get, in fact, we're going to dump, fuck it, we'll do all of them, it's not worth worrying about it. Miss out fuel anyway. So see if we can knock him out of the sky. Equally, I've got another one coming in here. He's sitting at high altitudes. I'll see how this guy manages first, and we'll come back to that. I've got 3 subs engaging what looks to be like a carrier fleet, a Soviet carrier fleet up here. And then we've got what looks like, hang on, I'm just going to pause the stream, I'll be back in a sec. So just to remind you, we've got the Kirov and I think it's the Kuznetsov, or maybe it's the, I can't remember now which one it was. There's a carrier up here, maybe it's a Varag, I don't know, a Slava, and another an Uloy. It's probably a Sovramani in there as well. I think that's probably a Sovramani. British sub, tracking it down, Trafalgar class sub. The only issue up here is potential issue from with their ASW helicopters in the air. And they've got a bloody maritime surveillance aircraft I've been trying to shoot down everything bright, and I've lost a few F-15s trying to do that. It's been a nightmare. At the same time, I'm moving my HMS Invincible up just to see if we can engage some of these. There seems to be like a holding pattern up here, and I'm going to see if I can interdict that from underneath. And we've got a Harrier that's just been doing a really good job at knocking out some of these jammer aircraft at the north. Harrier seems to be the most successful aircraft I've got in the campaign so far, so we'll see how that works out for us. Right, and then we've got the American convoy across the so we've got an air convoys, you know, so we're transferring lots of assets and manpower, etc., across the Atlantic to support the war effort in Europe. And there's the American 29th Infantry Division. This is being convoyed slowly across the Atlantic, and I've got some French ASW aircraft supporting that, as well as some Canadian aircraft as well, trying to cover those small little fleets down there. And I've got a flight of a squadron of F-18s, AMRAAM armed F-18s, which is great. I really need these guys. Flying out to the Enterprise. Only slight concern with these guys is, will I have room to land them? We will deal with that when we get to it. I've got plenty of tankers in the air, so I can do something if we have a disaster. So let's get cracking. Just going to give this guy a car, because if you manually allocate weaponry but don't do anything else, they'll just sit there spinning. When they come in range, they'll fire, but you actually have to then, if you allocate manually and then do F1 attack, and then it will actually vector towards the target as well. It's a better way of doing it. And this guy might just need to speed up a little bit, otherwise he's going to get a heat rocket on the backside. These guys don't tend to be terribly good at engaging at low altitude. That's probably the one thing that's working in my favour. I think they can launch, but they just don't have a good hit hit ratio. what we'll do when we're in range, I'll bounce this guy's radar on just so we can see him. Or I might not, just in case he might get counter fire. Fingers crossed he'll get a decent enough lock. It's a bit of an ambiguous target at the moment. Speed it up a little bit. Just there we go. 2 away. 3 away. Turn the guy around. And Ram's fire and forget, so don't need to worry about laser illuminating it. Or even the mighty Su-33 should be manageable with 4 Rams. This is the moment I find out there's 3 there and I'll be like, fuck. Not getting a good radar return on him. These guys should go live with their own radar. There we go. It looks like he's fired. Not going to worry about that because in theory, if I can knock him down, it will become null and void anyway. Missed the first one. And the second. And the third. Got him with the 4th. Now you see why I didn't fuck around with just 2. Right. Yeah, you probably heard the wife came around at the same time, so I'm just going to close the door so you don't hear baby screaming. So that was not a bad result in the end. Let's check these guys are all going home. Now, I did have some Phoenixes being loaded up onto the... Sorry, my computer's just decided to suddenly start ramping up my speed. Very annoying. If anybody knows a better bit of software than that Asus fucking fan control, it's just utterly... makes such good hardware and then such poor software. Embarrassing. Right. So we've got some F-14s that were being loaded for bear. The Phoenixes, if you're ready, looks like half an hour, 40 minutes until the next ones are coming online. I should have done them from the start. I didn't think really. I don't see, they haven't found the fleet yet, so they haven't launched anything at me, so fingers crossed within 40 minutes I can get these guys ready, because then they'll be able to tackle anything that does get sent up against me, i.e. backfires, Su-24s. Meanwhile, these guys are cruising along in the layer, 20 knots. ASW. I do need to knock these guys out. That's why I need those Tomcats up really, so I can get some long-range missiles away. Same story over here. This guy's cruising along, probably a little bit slower because I don't want to get him detected. These guys have been they're back at 18 knots again. I had been slowing them down. When you damage the lead ship, it tends to slow the convoy down, but I seem to have lost that capability, and I can't engage with the rockets, the missiles I was using, Sea Eagles, because they've now got these bloody surveillance aircraft up that are picking up those missiles before they get close, which is not good. Although having said that, the only broadcasting radars are these fighters and that whatever it is, mail ship. What is this? Let's have a look, because this has been fascinating me since I first saw it. I wonder if it looks like a copy of the short Sunderland, but I wonder if it is. It doesn't say any more about it. I might have to look that up in my own time. Apparently they stopped using it in '92. Which looking at it, it's not really that surprising. Looks like the most modern bit of kit. How are we doing for air cap on these guys? See how it is. I've run out of AMRAMs, I seem to remember. Yeah, I have. I've only got... Seagulls. There's little point, so I'm going to save those guys until I absolutely have to use them. Which is a shame. I should have thought about that. I manually dropped these guys in there. The reason I left them in there is because they survived the last mission I did. Part number 8, part number 7. But they were pretty beaten up. So the fact they don't have a full complement of missiles is probably not a bad thing. It's relatively realistic. Got some guys with super sky flashes, but again, useless against these. I really struggle with the sky flashes. It might be that I can get a sea dart on him. See, have I got any AMRAMs? What I really need is AMRAMs. No. And the last of the F-18s, last of the F-15s were getting beaten up, to say the least. Right, let's just check what's going on down here. So I've got a long distance cap, strategic cap, just to avoid anything coming down this line here. I managed to get an AWACS bird up, so we've got good coverage now across the entire Atlantic. We can cover, I can't cover shipping here, but it's unlikely to be shipping down here. It's going to be aircraft. We had some MiG-31 interceptors coming through there, and I'm worried about backfires as well, finding their way through. Meanwhile, my Nimrods are doing a really good job. Seeding this area with buoys, sorry. There we go. So I should have pretty good anti-sub coverage all the way across here to try and defend against subs coming through. If I'm honest with you, I think they're already here. I took out one earlier. It was down here. So it's unlikely they're trying to get, but I play the game. Just hide those again. They slow everything down. Do not show. Right, how are these guys doing for fuel? Clip along 36,000 feet, 480 knots cruise. And 754 nautical miles radius. Just a shade under 350 nautical miles to go. That's great. So they're going to be landing shortly and should be good to go. Now, I did notice a lot of bombers. There was activity up here. My worry is that we're going to get something coming down. So I have created a marker up here. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I did create a marker up here for a fuel run. I think we were going to get some tankers up there. So that these F-15s based up at Thule can do a little bit of interdiction. Well, not that they're going to do much of the Sparrows, but they'll do the best they can. Useless missile again. Looks like these guys got another pair of flankers up. Possibly one, possibly two. The Kuznetsov doesn't carry a huge number. So it is... They don't seem to launch very many at the same time. I don't know whether that's just because of the doctrine or because of the way, just the way they're structured. Oh, I'm still running fast. So it is possible to whittle them down and knock them all out of the sky. But it can be a risky proposition unless you've got decent coverage at a cap up there. Really, that's a bit of a worry. Backfire. AMRAMs. AMRAMs. Sorry, finished with the red. Yeah, that's a bit of a worry. If these guys spot my invincible, we could have a rather painful incident with high-speed missiles coming my way. We'll see. And there's nothing I've really got that can knock those out at that range. Where's one of those? Alright, let's just grab that guy. Take him off his mission. Have him pop up there, I think. Grab him and zip him up there. What we'll do is we'll move that bar cap marker, patrol marker, just a little bit further north. What the fuck is he doing out there? Oh, he's fucking trying to refuel. See, this is the trouble with setting refuel. So that's his patrol area. Because he was set to refuel, he's decided to piss off over here and refuel by an aircraft down here, which means he's now going to get a missile up the fucking chuff. That pisses me off. It's so annoying. Sake. Right, now I'm going to do a bit of jiggy pokey to try and dodge this guy down. Right, let's get him down at min altitude, max speed. Take him off the mission he was on. He should turn and hopefully try and hightail it. Idiot, he's going to turn towards the missile. Just brilliant. And then he'll get halfway and turn and he'll prevent... so annoying. To lose a good airplane here. Oh, it's unbelievably lucky. But there's 4 more coming where that came from, unfortunately. There we go, another launch. This guy's fucked, basically. Oh! Can't believe he's flown out that zone. That's just so stupid. That's where this game really annoys me. Yes, you could argue I should have set that up properly, but equally, the logic that decides that, right, the nearest tanker's down here, so I'm going to fly 1,000 kilometres out my way, off my mission zone, into the enemy to get refueled is just stupid. Half of me thinks I should save and just move the fuck. Right, I'm going to do that. So stupid. Stupid. I'm breaking my rules here, cheating a bit here, but I just winds the fucking hell at me. That is not right. Right. So I've just moved him basically back to where he should be. You'll have to tell me whether you think that was the right thing to do or not. Probably not, but it's ridiculous. Where is he? There he is. Unit orders. Assigned to mission ASW. No, we don't want him on that mission. RAF ASW, there we go, that's the one we got him on. And he'll just sit there patrolling this zone here now. And frankly, I can tighten that up now a bit. He's still got to decide he needs refueling at some point, but he's not going to be travelling. He's going to go to where the tankers are. Anyway, there we go. Bullshit. There's bound to be other examples of that. This guy's on the same, doing the same job. Okay, yeah, because we want him at this night, isn't it? He's not actually an ASW, he's an lint, but we want him following the same rough path. But he's sticking at a high height because I obviously wanted to pick up signals. So these guys just had what is known as a UFO experience there. Slightly concerned because my Invincible is now going to be on the radar of this backfire up there, and potentially that one as well. Yeah. No, I've got radar coverage, so if anything comes in I should be able to see any vampires, but I don't have a huge number of rockets, missiles. 66 sea darts, which against these kitchen missiles you can need probably 2, maybe 3 a pop. It's not very many if these guys decide to launch. I was moving these guys, yeah, I was just moving them out a bit, but not too far up. They don't have huge AA coverage, so they're a little bit weak. This is the Dutch surface group with the Brandenburg, I think German and Dutch frigates, basically. Really anti-submarine, really ASW warfare. Like I said, I think all the submarines are going to be here and already down at this fleet, attacking my American fleet here. Now I've got no control over these guys, annoyingly, because they're doing stupid things like circling aircraft up there. Excuse me. And I got a cold as well, sorry, apologies. All I can do is control the patrol aircraft coming out of Gander. And these guys can't be refueled either, which is doubly annoying. So even though they've still got loads of sensors, they keep having to fly back, which is a real pain. So I'm not really sure quite how realistic this defence is here. As they move further east, they're going to start to come into the Atlantiques area, which is the French, and I could potentially bring some of my Nimrods down, but not Mars. This guy's on a refuelling run. He's going to be sitting up here. So the greatest threat now, really, realistically, is these backfires. So what I'm doing is this flight of 2 tornadoes. I'm just going to turn off their fuel warning windows, because otherwise potentially they'll get halfway and they'll turn around. Always risky, but because I've got him on afterburner, and whether we can make it all the way up there is an issue potentially. At that speed he's going to be able to travel 180 nautical miles when he has to turn around, which is about there. So that was the right thing to do. And what I can always do is get one of my Oil King tankers, that one, no, not that one, that one, no, What have we got up in here that's... Why is that guy refueling? Yeah, I set these guys to refuel, but the reality is I've got to watch him because he's only got missed torpedoes left. He doesn't have any sensors, so the reality is he's a little bit crippled. And he'll drain all the fuel out of those. Have I got any more tankers coming up? What I was going to do is get one of the tankers to head a bit further north just to support that. Let's get him up. And I think I may have had some more as well coming up out of Mildenhall. No, not Mildenhall. Maybe it was Surprise Norton. I think I might have more in here already. We'll get that guy off that mission and heading north. These guys have got a pretty heavy ASW net, and I really do need to knock those guys down. That's why I need those Tomcats. And what we'll do is we'll speed the game up just a little bit. Watch out for vampires. Hold time. Coming into my invincible. That's the KC 130, 110 taking off. VC 10, sorry. That was... the tankers are at Loikers, that's why I didn't see them. Fine. So I've got two big tankers going up north, that's great. This sub is going to miss these guys. And this sub is getting real close. So I'm going to slow him the fuck down. So he doesn't make so much noise. And then... See, the radius of these torpedoes is really tight. Now that's an effective range. There's a kinematic range, which is like your total range is something like that. But you don't have very many. I've only got 6 really good ones. These target fish are fucking useless. They're slower than the ships, basically. So unless you've got a spot on, unless it's the Belgrano and it's moving at 5 knots, you're screwed, and they don't know you're there. As soon as they know you're there with those, they're useless. They'll just run away. And I'm only going to get a couple of shots of these guys because these choppers are going to be on it so fast. And I need to really do with knocking out the Slava and that, which I think is the carrier. But it's hard to be sure. And if this guy pissed off and ran out of fuel, I could maybe get some harpoons away. I've got 2 harpoons on the rack. No, 2 harpoons in the tube. Ready to go. That's another tip, guys, as well. Always check your weapons loadout and subs, because you'll get there, want to use something, you'll find it isn't on the buddy, it's on the rack and it's not on the tube. So 2 harpoons in the tube, target fish in the tube. So I'm going to fucking get rid of those because they're shit. Let's just change to spearfish. Spearfish. Again, not sure why I didn't do that before. So you've got 5 tubes on the this particular Trafalgar class. 2 harpoons, 3 spearfish ready to go. Shortly. Meanwhile, the Turbulent is kicking along at 32 knots, nice and deep, seeing if he can just catch up. So if this guy doesn't get him, this guy should do. That's the plan anyway. These guys seem to have changed direction slightly. just going to bring this guy across down a bit. Check for anything nasty up here. As you can see, they've got a lot of long-range bomber bases up here, and I know they've definitely got fuelers up somewhere here because I've seen them on the satellite feed when I've had access to it. Talking of which, can I see any satellites going over? No. That's quite a useful feature. Sometimes you get satellite coverage, but there's a Soviet one coming through. It's going to go right over my fleet. I think it's going to go right across there. And it does make a difference. They will spot you with it. Nothing I can do, I can't shoot them down. I'm not even sure what the functions in the game. Maybe it is, I don't know. Right, my tornado group is still flying up there as fast as it can. This guy's going a bit slower, a bit more fuel efficient. Worst case scenario, they'll get some missile launches and they might be able to engage them with a sky flash. I don't know. The kitchens travel real fast. Very difficult to knock out. Okay, speed up a little bit, let's catch up. Okay. Flash traffic. Basically, that's just telling us that all the aircraft should be coming into Oceania now, which is, I think it is that. Oh, I'm not familiar with. There we go. So these F-18s, is it air to air? They are loaded for air to air. Well, they're definitely not loaded for air to air. They're loaded for air to ground. That might just be an error in the mission, I don't know, but it looks like they're going to be ready in a minute. So potentially I could use those, or air to sea. I can use them against sea or air, basically. AGM-84 is that. They've got Sparrows and they've got Sidewinders. The trouble is I'm not quite sure what I can do with them at the moment, so to be honest with you, it's a bit of a wasted message. If they'd had AMRAAMs on, then that would have been useful. Just check these guys. Yeah. Another fuck up with the fueling I did over there, if you remember rightly. Setting those guys to fly the way out there without a tanker. Idiot. Right, we've got to launch off one of these Skyflash illuminated cone. Now these guys are pretty handy. The yacht backfires and might be able to fly around this, we'll see. And those are the kitchen missiles I was telling you about, they're just evil. Pretty, see what he does, see how he reacts. I read in one of my old books when I was a kid. Apparently the Skyflash is the most heavily developed air-to-air missile in the world, but it was in the 1980s anyway. Somehow I don't think it is now. So far my experience of them is they're absolutely useless because of this whole illumination cone. When you go when you go You're playing chicken against Su-27s or MiG-29s, and they're launching missiles at you as well. These guys are turning to avoid the missiles, breaking the lock. It's an absolute nightmare. Don't know what happened there. See, they slow down once they get a launch because they don't want to get too close. Obviously, they're trying to, enhance. They're trying to keep the distance to the target as long as they can. But it's weird because then its partner, who isn't, continues to speed towards them at stupid speeds. Here we go. He's avoiding, and it's a miss. So I think what we'll do is, just to save a little bit of time, because it's going to be exactly the same result, we're going to dump all of those. Well, it'll end up being using Buddy Sidewinders. It's the only thing that seems to work on these. We'll see what happens now. The one thing I'm not sure of is Sky Flash missiles. And these guys are not unknown for carrying, maybe it's a Su-24s, but I think these guys can potentially carry air-to-air missiles as well. No, it says not. But the Su-24s can, and it's hard to tell the difference sometimes if they're coming in on a low-level bombing strike. So you've got to be a little bit careful because you can get counter-fire. I think they could have a cannon in the tail though, these ones, potentially. He's turning to avoid. It's a kill. I'm relatively pleased about that. Right. And I can put these guys back on their mission now. I'm gonna see what this backfire does. I've got another one going up. This guy's gonna be too low on fuel, but this guy's pootling up at 480 knots. He might be able to do something about this chap. Depends how fast he's going. Maybe not, I don't know. We'll see. Won't have to have him go up. Have a look. Can't do anything while that fucking... I'm hoping to get some harpoons off, but there's nothing I can do while that surveillance aircraft's up. I can't shoot him down. Every time I try and get anywhere near him, it gets... Phoenixes. We need Phoenixes. Let's get these guys up. The rest shouldn't be too far along behind that. 15, 20 minutes or so, half an hour, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. could have just read you the numbers instead of guessing. There you go. Interesting to know what the loadout on that guy is. And what his mission would have been. Because in the original, I reckon there's possibly... It's a loiter pattern there. And when they discover these guys, that'll be his mission to try and knock them out. Because they haven't discovered them yet. I think he's just loitering up there waiting. Having said that, yeah, it maybe that's why they haven't attacked the Invincible, because they're on strict instructions not to, because they've got to save their missiles for the Enterprise. Who knows? Either way, we're going to get out. It looks like we are going to be okay, because he would have been well within range, detection range in theory. Having said that, I did get some strike aircraft coming in from Reykjavik, and had some missiles coming in from the Slava in Mission 1, Mission 2, Episode 1, Episode 2. So they kind of know they're there. They have attacked them. We managed to knock them out. He's got a long way out. It's not broadcasting. Interesting to know what he's up to. And him. I bet that's another MiG-31. Loads of tanker sport. Sidewinders left, that's all those guys have got now. But they've got a full tank of fuel. We might vector those guys in as a preference to the Phoenix, and just see if we can get behind them. See what they do. We'll watch them, see what they do. They're going to have no... The Soviets are going to have no radar coverage, so I should be able to sneak behind them by the time they get down here. It depends when they start broadcasting. This is the big worry, all these choppers up here, which is why I've got the Phoenixes on those Tomcats as priority now. Invincible still cruising, 24 knots, bringing her defensive screen up to this position, which could enable me to start to think about whether I can get some land-based strikes in on Reykjavik. Some of the Buccaneers and Martel, TV Martels potentially. I don't know, we'll see. There's a lot of air coverage up there still. I don't feel comfortable going anywhere near it, to be honest with you. If you remember rightly, the original premise of the mission for me is really about drawing them out and taking them down one at a time. I find when you attack directly, unless you absolutely have to, and that's what the mission defines, they're so heavy on SAM coverage that, you know, and they can get jets up in the air so quickly, you're going to lose a vast number of your strike aircraft. Well, what have we got here? I don't know how much coverage they have, but this could be the time they spot the fleet. Which could change the game quite dramatically, because if they start launching strikes against it, my tactics is going to have to change again. Depends how fast these subs can get in and under. Still 66, 70 nautical miles haven't been anywhere close to these valuable capital ships, which are going to be in the middle. There's going to be a cruiser, there's going to be a missile defense, you know, like a heavy ballistic nuclear missile ballistic carrier, and there'll be a Kuznetsov class in there somehow. You can see they've got a lot of surveillance up here, radar coverage, so getting missiles in there is going to be tricky. I'm just going to slow this guy down and stick him up above the, just to see if I can hear anything, just in case there's any subs sweeping in the front. Same with these guys. It's cavitating slightly. You should slow down. There we go. Trick really should always slow them down before you make any changes in depth, really. But I didn't. We should. Give them a few minutes. Might help fix some of these locations as well. Good news is they seem to be focusing a lot on. Oh, there are ASWs up there. Okay, yeah, they've got pretty good coverage both against surface air, you know, so SSMs, ASMs, and subs. We'll leave them for a few minutes. Meanwhile, back on the ranch. That guy's definitely going to spot that fleet. This could start to get rather busy rather quickly. And it looks like my aircraft have now flown inside of the radar detection range, so they're now getting it. My bar cap is now getting engaged, which is interesting. This guy's only got Sparrows, so he's pretty pointless. We're going to get him back. And I'm going to move Steel Jaws, which is our AW. Oh, excuse me. Right, we're going to stop it there.